Hey guys, it's Sarah Oliver. Today I want to give you some stretches to help open up the major joints in the bodies, the shoulders and the hips. These places we put a lot of strain on, especially in the type of triathlon training that we're doing between the running, the cycling, and the swimming. So it's important to keep these joints moving. I once had a physician tell me that motion is lotion for the joints, so we want to keep them stretched out to keep the optimal range of motion active in these joints so that they don't get stiff and the connective tissue gets bound up, and then we end up not having as much flexibility as well as strength in our events. So there is something beyond just stretching going on here. So the first thing you want to think about having is a block. Blocks are going to help you from a modification standpoint to give you a little more tactile feedback, as well as give you some more space and some balance if a pose becomes particularly challenging. So go ahead and come up to a standing position. The first position is called a straddle, standing straddle. So you want your feet about 3 or 4 feet out, wide apart from each other, toes turn slightly in, pull that belly in, and you're going to fold forward at the waist with a flat back. So I'm going to show you from the side here. Just going to fold forward with a flat back. You might want to have a block for added height. So you can pick your height. This is the tallest, medium width, lowest width. And you're going to place the block directly underneath the center of the chest. Place your left hand on top of the block. Bring your right hand to the hip. Keep your belly pulled in. Keep your legs active, so keep the muscles hugging onto the bone. And you're going to roll that right shoulder back. And you're going to take your left hand and softly guide the right shoulder back further to open that shoulder up. Bring your left hand back down to the block, and then raise that right arm up. So you want to keep the hips facing forward towards the floor. And just gently drop left ear towards the floor. Look over the right hand. Bring your right hand down. And you'll do the same on the other side. So this is creating some rotation in the trunk. By keeping the abdominals active and by stabilizing those hips, we're having the opportunity to open up the shoulders a little bit more. And I encourage you to definitely guide that shoulder open with the hand, because our bodies are so used to this forward momentum type movements, whether it's swimming, whether it's running, whether it's on a bike. We also be pretty bound up in the shoulders. So by using that hand, you're going to very gently guide the body to open up a little bit further. Go ahead and come down onto your knees. This next pose is really good in opening up the fronts of the hips, the hip flexors. Place your left foot out in front of you. And if you have any knee pain, you can always place some padding underneath that back knee. If it's still bothering you, you might just want to skip this pose altogether. Send your right knee back a little further. And you're going to take your hips, send them forward and down. So you should feel a nice deep stretch into that right groin across the front of the right hip. This is the first option. If you want to go a little bit deeper, turn your left toes out to the side, just slightly. And then to have that block close by again, pick your height. You can bring your forearms down onto the block. Now, if you have a lot of openness in the hips, you can even perhaps come all the way down to the forearms and let that left knee arc back behind you. Keep your belly pulled in the whole time to protect the spine. And with each exhale, let that right hip sink down a little bit deeper. Takes time and patience. If you close your eyes, it's going to help you become more aware of what's going on within the body. So I encourage you to stay here for 5 to 10 breaths. Give it some time to let that right hip open up. And then to come out of the pose, bring your hands underneath the body. Press the hands down to the floor like you were doing a push-up. Round up. And then switch it out to the other side. So you bring that right knee forward. Remember, send that left knee back a ways. Send those hips forward and down. And use the block as needed. Come back up to all fours. The next pose, which I'm sure many of you are familiar with, is called pigeon. There are 2 different options in terms of doing pigeon. You can either do it on your knees, or if you have knee or hip pain and it's too intense, you can do it on your back. The first variation I'll show you is on the knees. So you're on all fours. Bring your right knee directly behind your right wrist. Slide your left leg back slightly, then move the right ankle underneath the left hip. Send that left leg back until your left ankle is over top, the left hip is over top the right ankle. And then if you want to come down deeper from here, you might want to have your block. You can pick your height. Maybe here, maybe here. Most advanced would be to take the block out of the way, move your arms out in front of you, and bring your forehead to the floor. And go ahead and stay here again for 5 to 10 breaths. Really try to watch the shoulders, keep them nice and soft down the back. Relax your jaw, the muscles in the face. And with each exhale, let that hip sink down a little bit deeper, millimeter by millimeter. It's a slight movement, takes time and patience, and just be happy that you can even get into the pose and just enjoy it from there. If you want to do the modified version, you would come onto your back, bend up your right knee, bring your right ankle across the upper left leg, pull your belly in, tuck your tailbone under, and bring the knees up towards the chest. Reach your right hand between the inner thighs, left hand outside of the left leg, interlace your hands behind the left leg, relax your shoulders down, and gently pull those knees in towards the chest. If you want to go deeper, you can even interlace your hands on front of the left shin bone. If you're having a hard time getting the grip with the hands, take a strap, place it behind that left leg to give you that added length that you need to have a grip with the hands to gently pull the knees towards the chest. So that's modified pigeon. Come on up to a seated position. One more hip opener here. Bring your left ankle to the outside of the right hip and cross your right knee on top of left to bring your right ankle outside of the left hip. Lift up for a moment off those sit bones and then just go ahead and settle down so that the knees are stacked as tight as possible. If your hips are too tight and you're saying not today, not going to happen, then just straighten out your left leg and gently hug that right knee in towards the body. If you are in the full pose, make sure those sit bones are grounded down as much as you can. Make sure you keep the breath steady. And this is your cow face pose. So you would sit here for about 5 to 10 breaths, and then you would switch it out, bringing left knee on top of right to do it again. So just a few things to end with shoulder openers. I'm going to turn around so you can see visually where I'm going in terms of opening those shoulders up. So go ahead and bend your right elbow, bring the right palm towards the back. Bring your left hand on top of the right elbow and gently guide that elbow back and down until you start to feel that right tricep start to open up. If your ribs are popping out, hug them back in towards the spine, belly is pulled in. This might be plenty for you. If you want a little more, bring your left hand around and press the back of the left hand into the back. Now your left hand might be all the way down here. That is fine. You can use a strap between the hands to hold on to walk your hands up that strap. You might actually have the bind available. And if you're down here, that's fine. You still want to press both hands actively into the back to help those shoulders to roll back. And then unwind, go to the other side. Same exercise. Press the elbow back and down. Bring the right arm around. So you would do that on the other side. 5 to 10 breaths. And then you would release it. And then from here, just to open the shoulders up one more time, raise the arms up. And then swing the right arm underneath the left, crossing at the elbows. Bring the palms towards each other, thumbs towards the face as much as you can. If you don't have that grip, if you're here, that is fine. Your goal is to try to get that right little pinky finger hooked onto the left thumb. And if you're not there, that's what you're working towards. Yoga is all about the journey. There's really never a finished final pose. We continue to stretch deeper, to strengthen stronger, and we just go as far as we can from day to day, from moment to moment. So you're in your cow face arms, and you're going to pull the elbows down towards the belly button. Stay here for 5 breaths. And then to open it up, lift your elbows so they're in line with the shoulders. Pull the hands away from the face. Feel the shoulder blades open up. Feel them slide across the back. Breathe deep. And stay for 5 to 10 breaths. So that's it for today. Just some nice stretches to target the hips and the shoulders. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys soon. Thanks.